you said something about sensitives. That's a sensitive topic too.
It is a sensitive
Um,
talk, but I think a lot of sensitives are full of shit. You know,
yes.
I've seen a lot come in. This is nothing new, a new topic for me. You know, again, I didn't think when I first got into ghost hunting that I would have the opportunity to see the community at large, and I really appreciate it. I'm not talking down on that. That is a huge privilege to be able to see, because I didn't realize how big the community is. I think, you know, when we hold these paracons, yeah, large groups come up and you got a lot of teams, but I need to emphasize how large the paranormal community is, especially concentrated within Ohio, West Virginia, Pennsylvania, New York,
Amazing.
Indiana. We've got the highest concentration of ghost hunting teams out here, but that means you get to meet a lot of interesting people, and there are a lot of sensitives that I think are full of shit. Um, and it's really tough though to say, because I've met some really good ones that I think are very legitimate, that do have a special gift, that their brain works very interestingly. But in our day and age, it's hard for me to believe everyone that comes to the door, because Madison Seminary is so heavily put out online.
Right.
I mean, you do type in Madison Seminary on Google, and dude, video after video after documentation of this stuff comes in. And if I wanted to be a fraud tomorrow and be like, dude, Adam Kimmel is a psychic now, you know what I mean? It's like, I could, if I wanted to do that, I'd just go through Google and just read all these things and then just be very vague, try to put on a good act, you know, like, and I've seen some of the acting. I'm like, oh, okay.
Um,
You know,
that's too funny because I just messaged someone the other day. I think Elise from Alabama Paranormal sent her a picture. I'm like, I'm gonna self-declare as a psychic medium because it's the cool thing to do.
yes, I've seen a lot of investigators do this. Like, and I will never, you know, I've had people say, oh, Adam, you're sensitive. It's not, it's because it's like we've been doing the game long enough that, yeah, maybe we get in touch with things a lot, but I don't get visions. I don't,
Right.
you know, and if I do, it's a 1% thing where I'll get like this weird thought through my head, but is it just me being crazy all the time? You know what I mean? Like, but I've seen this popular trend where people are investigating for a while and then it's getting a little stale and be like, by the way, guys, I'm sensitive. Like I've just opened up my abilities more. Now, yes, I do believe, probably because we've got the CIA that have experimented with psychic phenomena. You know, it's probably our brains are not like, I think 93% of the human brain is unmapped. We probably all have abilities, but unlocking it in a very particular niche of things that we do, like the paranormal, I I don't think so.
I think we're all sensitive because we all have that
To a
feeling
degree,
sometimes.
yeah, we get we
Yeah,
get the Spider-Man sense. Yeah, to a degree, we've got it, but we're not like
but we're not
walking
declaring it.
through. Yeah, we're
I
not
mean,
declaring and be like, oh my god, I can see them walking through the room like this. There's only been a very small percentage of people, I think, that like have it.
right.
Um, and that would be very interesting to do, like an MRI scan of the brain. Take someone like us simple apes, and have our brain as an example. Like, what lights up? You know, what part of the brain when we're thinking about things lights up? And then take someone who is a known sensitive and do an MRI of their brain. Is it possible there's a part of the brain somewhere deep that's lighting up that ours is like dark and gray? You know what I mean? That would be interesting to me to see.
Right.
Um,
I mean, our
but
minds just want to create something though, even as adults. I mean,
100%.
think about when we were kids. There was a creature under your bed. There was a creature in your closet. You were scared to move. In your
Yeah,
mind, that monster was real under your bed. That's the same thing we're doing now when we walk into a haunted location.
100%. And here's the thing, like, why eyewitness accounts are the weakest in court. It's because, you know, it's not a very good defense to have someone come as a witness, because the more you think about a thought, you corrupt the file. And even if you only get fragmented bits of something, you see something really quick, right? Let's say a team experiences a paranormal event and they see a shadow person. I saw an incredible shadow person. This is real. I saw an incredible shadow person outside of the wing of Sarah. It's like going in the opposite direction. And the more I think about it, I'm like, what did I really see? And I know, like, in that moment, I can see it now, but this thing was only there for a second and a half. It's like burned in my memory, but the more I look at it, it's like I'm losing the definitive, like, imagery of it, you know? So it's like, but then the brain wants to fill in. Saw an
Right.
incredible shadow at Old South Pittsburgh Hospital. The craziest thing. This thing was just standing at the end of the hallway, and it was there for a good 15 seconds. Didn't give a shit about us. What was that thing? And the more I think about it, it's like, what was that? You know, and your brain's trying to replay it. Because again, we try to fill in this stuff. So imagine, I think the hardest thing for a psychic is what is a foreign thought and a domestic thought that you're trying to overlap, where the
Right.
imagination's coming in to fill a void that the foreign misses. Yeah.
And the one thing about the paranormal, we can't prove that someone's full of shit or not. That's the
We
hardest
can't.
part.
We
I
can't. I
mean,
mean,
and
I think
like we're talking about sensitives, we're talking about dolls. We can't prove that that doll's not haunted. We just think it's full of shit. I
yeah.
mean, that's just our opinion. And that's what kind of stinks about the paranormal. I wish we can have more proof like, no, it's not. Or no, you're not a sensitive. I believe a lot of sensitives out there actually believe they're sensitives.
And that could trip like a lie detector would be very interesting. You know, putting these people in a lie detector. But if you put a person that really believes
Yeah.
under a lie detector, doesn't matter then, right? They
Right.
really believe. You know, so it would be tough to tell. And you know, the longer you work with people, then it maps out. It's not like someone's going to impress you. I've met some people that like try to impress you the first day. They'll
Right.
come running down like, I see all this. I'm like, no, if we're going to do this shit, all right, and I'm going to affiliate with you, we would need to do this for a long, long time. And I hate to say that because you have any psychic is always going to be tested. There's not this point where you get to the point and everyone just believes what you say. It is a constant trial and tribulation. But you know, that's the ones I meet. And they're almost like wanting their report card at the end. Did I do good? Did I pick up on stuff? I'm like, I don't give a shit if you got 99% of it correct. You can't pass the test in one day. This is going
Right.
to have to be a very, very long working relationship, and it will be very painful. And when we get there, you know, then there'll always be questions, you know,
Right.
with it.
And you know, I work with Stephanie too, Pitts, Haunted Havens, whatever her name is now.
Mm-hmm.
You know, psychic medium, fair, you know. But the couple times I investigated with her, she didn't bloat about it. She just went about investigation and had a good time. And that's what it's about too.
Mm-hmm.
But like you said, there's a lot of people out there saying, I am a psychic, or there is someone standing behind you. No, there's not. Like, come on, dude. Like, there's no one
But yeah,
behind you.
anyone can say that. Anyone can say
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Here's what I've learned, and again, let's keep throwing these hot topics. Is that it's very popular to teams to have a psychic, right?
Right.
You know, we have Rebecca with us. I've worked with her for 14 years. And trust me, she's been thrown through the ringer. She's blown my mind tons of times, but it wasn't going to happen overnight to know that. But I've noticed that a lot of teams have a psychic and their psychic is 100% absolutely correct. Can't be questioned. If another psychic's there, well, our psychic didn't pick up on that, so it's not real. Here's what I can say to defend psychic phenomena. Because all people are not built different or are built the same. You and I are very alike with a lot of our thoughts, but our brains are not designed the same way. They do not fire the same way. There's always going to be some little knack of difference. I have said this many times before. This is in the defense of psychic phenomena, is that I've had people say, well, if you have 10 psychics walk through the building, they should all pick up on the same stuff. No, you simple little ape with your stone equipment and your little fire. That is not how it works. That's cute, but you're light years away. The way I would look at it is, if you were to take 10 people, you, me, and 8 others, and we're watching the movie Titanic. We're all sitting in the theater. We can even bullshit and talk because all these psychics are walking around talking to each other, whatever. We're all watching the movie. We can talk. We can reference what's going on. The minute Titanic, I'm just using this as an example because everyone knows Titanic. The minute the movie's over, we're immediately exit interviewed. Ryan, you're taking that way. I'm taking this way. We got people asking us questions, and they're like, hey, you just got done watching this 3-hour movie. Please tell me the most significant scene that resonated with you. And you're going to say something. The odds of us both having we only get to say one thing, but we all saw the same movie. It's very likely that all 10 of us are going to resonate something different. Like, oh, that rich man took that girl and said, she's all I have. Please put me on the boat with her. Or someone's going to be like, dude, there was definitely enough room on the door for Rose for Jack to get on. Mm-hmm. Or, man, a pair of binoculars could have saved the Titanic. We're all seeing the same movie, but something resonated differently. So when you take those 10 psychics in, some of them may have different honed in abilities to different layers. It appears, and I'm not exactly sure how that works, but some psychics seem to pick on more of like a certain era. That's a whole rabbit hole to itself to why. Oh, yeah. But you're seeing 178 years of history. That's just in the building. That's not going past the land. you know, it's very peculiar to me that they all would pick up on the same thing. There's just so many layers to gravitate towards. So that would defend the phenomena, because I know the phenomena is real. I just don't think everyone's in the club. So
Right. I mean, then you talk different dimensions. Are they picking up on different dimensions too?
when you
don't know.
say dimensions, you mean like
I mean, it could be layers of like history.
layers? Yeah. Like
You know?
yeah. This is okay. You know, it's funny because I wrote that down. Are there different dimensions? The way that I thought about that is that how it's possible and how they may not even see each other is like, think about when you're doing an Estes method, right? And anyone listening to this, think about this very common question. We do this all the time. How many spirits are here? Interestingly enough, let that question ride. Let it ride. Your instinct will be to ask another question right after you get your answer. Let it ride and see if you get different numbers.
Yeah.
You know, see if you get one answer is 12, and you wait a little bit longer, ride it, fight your intrusive thoughts to talk. Actually, the best advice in the paranormal is just shut up and listen, because everyone wants to yap when you're doing EVPs and SS. Let these questions ride. Give them the time to respond. Anyway, you get the number 12, and then you get 4, and you get 8, or ask them what year it is. You're not going to get probably the most present year. You're going to get a year from the past. And let's go back to those numbers being different. It may be a theory that let's say we're in Sarah's room and we get different numbers. We get the number 6, 8, and 12. And you got to think all of those dimensions or layers can hear us, but they can't hear each other. So when we're communicating, each of them think we're trying to talk directly to them, but when they talk back, we're just getting their answers. That would explain why you get so many, like if you're trying to stay on one linear topic, it gets thrown off. That may be a smoking gun to the dimensions or the layers, you know?
Let's talk about EVPs then, because there's a theory out there the frequency of your recorder, captures different EVPs. And I've witnessed that personally myself. 2 different recorders, one has nothing, the other one has a whole bunch.
Mm-hmm.
So not dimension wise, but different frequency.
It could be different frequencies, how the device is made. A lot of people hate the DR60. I've got a lot of people that criticize it. One of my first arguments, and I said, it's just probably because you're too poor and you can't afford one. Love throwing that out there. They're very expensive, but I've tested that thing time and time again. And I was buying these things when they were like back in 2010 and $300. I've heard people say, oh, you're picking up on radio waves. Like, shut the fuck up. What do you even know about that stuff? Bring out the schematics and tell me how radio waves work, because you're such a scientist. Here's the thing is, like, I did this thing. There's Greg Larson, brilliant individual. He runs the Indiana State Sanatorium. So, of course, the first time we meet, he does not believe in the paranormal whatsoever. And we're doing this EVP session because I just had my equipment there. But he's like, "Show if you think ghosts are real, show me something." I'm like, "Oh, goddamn, here comes a circus act. I got to do something." So I happen to have the DR60s with me, and I always do the word banana because of the phonetics. It's just easy to hear. I get so many people like, "That's the word you pick." It's like, it's because I'm thinking smarter. Is that we want to hear easy phonetics? Why pick this crazy word of like supercalifragilisticexpialidocious? You know what I mean? Like, but there's something he said, audio relics. It's that if you say that word in the recording, that it's actually recorded in there. And I get it. Actually, it's a valid argument he had for that. I did play back the recording. It was maybe a class B, and we heard banana in the phonetics. What I did was I didn't say the word banana in the recording. It wasn't 1, 2, 3. Can you please say banana? It was, I'll say right now, hey, when I turn this recorder on or this device that's going to capture your voice, I need you to only say the word banana and just keep repeating that, okay? On the count of 3, say it. And then I say 1, 2, 3, go ahead and say that word. I have not said the word banana anywhere in that recording, but let's go further to defend EVPs against audio relics. How many times when you fire up your recorder are you saying, help me, get out? You know, in your recording, you say, hey, can you say get out for us? That's the argument of an audio relic. That's going to you're just hearing an old recording in there. I think there is a specialty to the DR60, not even the other QR. There's like a QR80 or whatever, but I respect people for doubting it. It's one of those things like stay skeptical as long as you can. I have used that device for over 14 years now. I can tell you when one of those is about to break. I know that there are certain, I promised myself not to drop names on your podcast tonight. I saved that for getting banned on TikTok Live. There are celebrity ghost hunters that have the DR60s that I can tell you, if they ever try to sell those, do not buy them. Their speakers are popped. They have dropped the recorders. When you get them constantly screaming and you just hear, ah, and they're like, oh my God, the spirits are so angry here. That's actually no anomaly captured. Your speaker is broken and it's creating that thing. I own 28 of them. I should know, I've seen what the broken ones do. And it's one of those things where it's really tough because if you buy one, that's a huge risk and investment. And I can actually tell you when those recorders popped off in price. Nick Groff came out to film Paranormal Lockdown, and he had a DR60. Now, in the beginning of RU, I always would tape that up because it was like I didn't want the market. It's like when you know something's good, the minute you put it out there, people come in and they'll buy those, and then they'll jack the price up. They don't care about ghost hunting. It's a capitalist society. It's a capitalist market. They're going to know what to do. Groff comes, and he pulls one out. And he's like, oh, you've used these before. And I'm like, I have. And he's like, you look so surprised. And my response was, I see you're not covering up the Panasonic. You're not covering that up. And he's like, oh, no, it's fine. I'm like, it's not. It's not fine, actually, because even the Constantinos on Ghost Adventures, you never really saw them holding that. Like, you wouldn't see any clips of it because they didn't want people to, like, saturate the market. After lockdown came out, I remember checking eBay, and they jumped up from, like, $600-700 to almost the $1,500 at that time. And now I think some of them value $3,000. Again, people can, again, the opinions of all these recorders and what's happening, it could be, Olympus is designed a certain way. There's the Olympus recorders, there's the Sony recorders. They're all different devices. They're all imperfect devices. Some work a little better for capturing the phenomena. I mean, we can go on for hours about that, but yeah.
I mean, I have mine. I bought this actually the first time I went to Madison, same recorder. I think it cost me like $25 at Walmart.
Cheaper the better. And you got to think these 80s recorders, they were cheap,
Yeah. And I have two other ones I bought, more expensive. I go back to my old one. That's my baby.
I tell people all the time, to anyone listening, avoid the most expensive recorders at Walmart or wherever. They are designed to take out the ambient noise. The tech has come so far that you could have radiate noise, you could have the air conditioner running, all these different things running, and it knows how to voice isolate. That's not good for the phenomena. You need these archaic devices from the 80s that were rough, that created their own little artificial white noise that assists in the phenomena. So yeah, cheaper the better, man. Go to a garage sale, go to Goodwill, and look in their electronics section. Sometimes you'll find people just throwing out these old janky 80s electronics. That stuff's gold. That's gold.
Yeah. That's so you bought Madison Seminary. Was another question I had. Did you ever expect it to take off like it did?
Yes. So here, I always give this disclaimer to warn people: don't try to actively go and buy a location. You got to be very crazy. I'm going to tell you right now, like be the David Goggins of the paranormal, because the amount of work that goes into it. People think that I investigate 24/7 because I have a property. Bullshit, dude. I'm the head of the maintenance department. That is what I am. When I'm on tour with people, they're like, Adam, you're staring at the ceiling. Did you see a crawler? No, I think I see a leak. You know what I mean? Like, I got to constantly be on this thing. This is Madison Seminary is a 34,000 square foot structure. Fairfield County Infirmary, a little bit bigger. These buildings, they require a lot of work, a lot of money. Did I? Yes. And this is like the Elon Musk approach of understanding a business. I started investigating back in 2010. Okay. And that's like visiting a restaurant. You want to get into the restaurant business, go to a bunch of restaurants and see how they operate. See what the environment's like, because if you're going to open a restaurant, learn from the competition. It wasn't really a fact of learning from the competition. It was that I understood there were people out me that like to ghost hunt. So, and another thing is like protecting the game you love. There were a lot of locations. I remember in the beginning, the nostalgia of going to this place, like we lost Bobby Mackey's. There's a lot of locations we've lost that unless we're going to step in to protect it, you're just rolling the dice that they're still going to be there. So if we step in to save the locations, yes, it's there. And I had been to Madison Seminary back in 2010 was the first time, 2014, and then on my 32nd birthday back in 2016, July 23rd. That was the last time that I was there prior to not owning it. And I just saw the place was just going down in deterioration. And Madison Seminary was the second place I'd ever investigated in my entire career. And it just was that nostalgia. We all remember those first locations and how special they were because the magic is still there. And I was like, oh shit, I love this place. I need to protect this place. And I don't know what came over me because there was like no way in my mind this would have ever worked. But anyone that knows me in my close circle, I am borderline psychopath. Crazy with the ideas, the idea guy. And it just happened to work. Did I ever have a question of it being successful? Not at all. I believe full force in the paranormal community. They are some of the great. This is one of the greatest. It may be dubbed one of the toxic communities. Again, humanity's toxic. One of the greatest communities is the paranormal community. There are so many good people that outshine the bad in this game. And I've always known that and believed in that. And that is the exact community that has made Madison Seminary so successful, Fairfield, ISS. So yeah, to answer that question, 100%. And
Okay.
if I had to go back in time and do it again, I would absolutely do it all the same way again. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I interview a lot of people on my podcast, and I always tell them like Madison Seminary is my favorite. And there's a reason for that. I mean, again, first place I investigated
Right.
way back in the day.
Nostalgia.
And they're always like, dude, I want to go to Madison. Like even people all the way out west, California, want to come to Madison. I mean, it's a name that people want to go to. And I love it because you have so many different spirits there.
It's an interesting lineup.
You can go to the attic and get freaked out. You can go down to Sarah's room and, play with George, whoever Sarah is. Then, the grave room.
Yeah. Go ahead.
The grave room's kind of losing. It doesn't seem like too many people are huge into the grave room anymore.
Which one's the grave room? Or with the hole in it?
Yeah.
Yeah. I was just talking to a group there tonight. And here's the thing. It's interesting. There was a topic that had come up. Someone had asked me in an interview, do you think Madison Seminary is overplayed? I'm like, no, because I would say that hauntings go to sleep. Any location. Like, it's like people would say like OSR. Well, I'm trying to think. Madison Seminary is probably extremely visited because of the pricing. And I say that with confidence. I'll talk mad shit because I've had people talk shit on me. Adam's all about the money. Listen, I have not changed the price to Madison. Actually, when you went there, I'm not sure what he charged then.
It was $30 a person.
$30 a person, right?
Same as you.
When I went, exactly, because it was like up to 10 you could do or something. Back when I first investigated the Madison Seminary, a weekday was 300. Maybe the weekend was 300 too. I just made it 300 and 500. That was back in 2016. The economy has up and down. You see these locations that are like, we have to up our price because of the economy. That's basically saying you guys are going to have to foot the bill for the maintenance. Okay. I've kept the prices the same, and I put a brand new roof on the Fairfield County Infirmary. Right. So these places that are telling you they got to ARP charge you, they can sit down because they're pocketing your money. They're pocketing your money. And again, this should be obvious. I'm not in the good old boys club. There isn't like this secret society of owners that get together. I'm not in it. I'm not in that club. I'm a very independent. Like I have a lot of property owners I run with that I give huge endorsements to, like Bill Manor, Hinsdale House, you go down the line. These are good people that do not charge a lot. And there's a whole sector of properties I don't play with. Like I may go visit their property, but I'm not giving you an endorsement because you shouldn't be charging a team $1,500 for like 5 hours. Why don't you just rob them? Just take the money out of their pocket. Anyway, I digress. That is I said we're going to be good tonight. A little low amount of shit talking, but
it's all good.
What was the original question again? I
have no idea.
Fuck.
I can tell you when I first went to Madison.
Oh, overplayed.
It was not
overplayed. We'll get back to that. Yeah, overplayed.
It wasn't up to 10 people. His son said, just give me $30.
Yeah.
And have fun. Like there was no reserve in it. You just kind of called him on the phone, said, hey. I'll be there.
The perk, the plus and the negative is that, if you could get in, awesome. But
Right.
like, dude, I tried reaching out so many times in 2014. It was the first time. 2010, they're pretty receptive. 2014, it's just me having a conversation with myself. I'm like, oh, damn, I'll pay you double. Just let me in. I need in. I need a hit. I need a hit, you know, because it's ghost hunting. We need it. And dude, so it was so difficult. But yeah, dude, it was like cheap. It was cheap. I remember the $30 thing, and it was like just 30 per person, however you want. But again, like, it was the Wild West, and the building was filled with trash. Like, it was filled with trash, dude. There was like, I remember there was like packing peanuts in some rooms. You couldn't get in the middle building. That was their operation room. But the argument of overplayed, and this is an interesting theory I was talking about, because I get people ask that, like, the property's so cheap. I've almost had, I can't name a team that hasn't been to Madison. I can't name a team that, now Fairfield's still out there. It's been about 5 years, but Madison under my leadership has been 10 years. And even before that, there were teams going there. So is it overplayed? And, you know, someone was asking me that. And I said, no, the haunting doesn't go to sleep. I think it comes down to our individual energies. At this point, and this is something Johnny Hauser had said to me when I was at the Villisca Axe Murder House. He goes, Adam, that whatever's in that building, that house, will talk to you if it wants to talk to you. It's seen everybody. It's been asked every question. If you are intriguing enough to that thing, or you get on its radar, it'll talk to you, whatever this thing is. Madison's the same way. A little bit of a friendlier haunting, but you got to think, these spirits did not die to answer what their favorite food was. Like, Ryan, how pissed would we be, dude? We're haunting the Madison Seminary. Like, dude, they're not even going to know what Subway is or some of these foods here are. Why do they ask that question? And dude, Ryan, you want to tell them your favorite color is blue tonight like you did last night? Where's this getting us? Like, I always tell people, you know, ask these spirits something relevant. Try to connect with them. Respect their home. You know, there are a few spirits I think are dark here. That's fine. It's your subjectiveness to think like what you want to ask or how you want to approach these things. But I think the best way to get evidence is connecting, but also people's energy. I think that I'm starting to more think about like these residuals, like stone tape theory. That building is covered with energy all over its walls. But how does it come out? Why are we not always hearing disembodied voices? Why are we not hearing the phantom footsteps all the time? I think we are the battery. I think people's energy. You ever heard of like people being ghost magnets? Like, some people are just off the wall. Like, you get them with you and all of a sudden, dude, activity everywhere. It is plausible that some of these high frequency people, high energy people walk through and they're just making the haunting pop off. It's there. We're hearing disembodied voices. And there's other teams that have walked in and, man, I'm like, shit, I'm sorry you had a bad night. It's like fishing, dude. Like, it doesn't happen. It doesn't happen, you know? Can't snap your fingers.
Yeah, I mean, there's been times I went there. I've been there 16 times. That there's been a few times I got nothing. It
right?
happens.
Dude, there's weeks I'll be working on the building and I won't hear shit. And then there's other days where I'm like, I think someone else is in the building with me. I also know like the building's haunted. So, you know, there's been days, dude. It's the paranormal and how it works, you know, but.
Yeah, I mean, it's a great place. I love it. I mean, it's my favorite place. So the attic is the attic. A lot of people say stuff up there. And the one thing I do is when I take new people there, I'm going November 2nd, taking, I think, 10 new people with me. I've never investigated before. I make them walk down that hallway. I don't give them anything. Tell me which two rooms feels off to you. I can tell you 90% of the time are the two rooms that feel off to me. So it's kind of, you know, it solidifies my experiences up there.
No,
now, I did go up there and did a solo for an hour. You know, I had my buddy close the doors, attic doors, and I've really never got a little bit besides those two rooms. Whatever is up there changed its mind. I mean, it was shaking that door. It was walking in the big attic. I felt bad up there. And I'm happy because I've had that feeling in a long time. That's what I wanted. That oh shit factor. Like, what is up here with me? So then I decided to run out December 1st this year. And I think I'm gonna do it.
I salute you.
I love the cold. Madison, when it's
if
cold.
you love the cold, I salute you. I mean, we stay open year round.
You do, but it's been so much more active.
Tag, yeah,
it's been so much more active when it was cold.
I agree. I love investigating the winter. I do. it becomes an ice box, and those are reserved for the Spartans, dude. You're part of the Spartan Club because in December, actually, it might still be okay because the building
Yeah.
retains the heat for a decent amount of time still into winter. And then when you especially get into February, it's an ice box. But
So I did read Madison's thing. I didn't see any disclaimers. So I ran that out to go by myself.
mm-hmm.
Is that okay? Because some people say you have to have
Oh
two
yeah,
people.
we've let solos go. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So December 1st, I'm doing a solo Madison. So I just want to see what's going on. It's
We
about
do.
that time.
Yeah, it's being a part of the community. I get it. Like I'm open to all avenues of research. We've had people go solo before. We've had large groups. You get the works. One thing I've been hanging on to that's like, again, getting into these like topics that like just bother you. It's like, when does a haunting begin, right? And a lot of us are not doing anything different. Like what is a residual? Well, no one died there to do that. When you're hearing these phantom footsteps, it isn't because they like were walking and then healed over or something. And it's like, I guess where my mind's going is, what is the foreign and what is the domestic haunting now? Because every time a team investigates, and I don't feel like this topic is talked about enough, maybe because owners aren't comfortable to talk about it or the community hasn't grasped it yet. But I think there are a lot that are grasping it. It's that like every investigation contaminates the haunting, right?
Right.
It has to. It has to. So I think when we all first get into the game, we assume that we are speaking to any spirits from 100 years ago. Like it always seems to be the Victorian era. But you've got to think that these layers are being put in there. What if you hear a door slam? How do we know that wasn't a team 2 years ago that slammed that door because they were scared and they were running or something, right?
Yeah.
The door, okay, there's a situation I have. It's called the door handle theory at Madison. When you first walk into Madison, there is another door that you will go through, past the office. That leads you to the middle hallway. Every single person, and I'm saying thousands in the last 10 years, thousands of people have come through the Madison Seminary. And I'm quite sure well over some people came there before I purchased it. Well, those people weren't walking through that door because I think they had that closed off. So only a few. But everyone past 2016 on has grabbed that door handle, opened that door, and walked through. Or the door was open and you just walked through it. It's weird, right? That becomes a very hyper-charged area. There was a team one night. There was one lady. She would not leave the middle building. She was scared shitless. She was like, they talked me into this. I'm just watching the DVR system. I'm like, awesome. Actually, you're in a very cozy area. Got a microwave over here, drinks over here. You got your food here. You're in the best spot. Anyway, when they were leaving, sometimes I'll catch the teams if I'm in the back house here and they're packing up and I'm letting the dogs out for a second. I'll catch a team, and I caught them this night. She came out and she goes, "Oh my God, you told me the middle building was safe." And I'm like, well, maybe I did. I might have been just talking off the fly because actually technically nowhere's safe. There's activity everywhere. But she said when she was watching the DVR system, the door handle started to jiggle like someone was trying to open it. And she's looking at the DVR system. She's seeing everywhere. There's like a group in the Civil War wing. There's a group up in the attic. And she's like, it's open. Just come in. Well, it stops. She's like, whatever. I don't know what they're doing. She goes back to her business. 5 minutes, 10 minutes later, door handle jiggles again. And she's like, well, maybe it's locked. No one's answering me. She goes over to grab the door, opens it. It's unlocked. And she's looking in the hallway. No one's there, right? She gets on the radio frantically. She's like, which one of you is playing a game on me, coming down to this door and jiggling the door handle? And like both groups are in their sections. Like, we have not come down to base in over a half hour. We've been up here. And this gets me into that theory of like, that door handle has been touched by how many people and jiggled by how many people, right? Is it not plausible that that was a residual shake and maybe not an intelligent spirit doing that? You get what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
Is it possible we're creating that haunting? You laughing in the building. You were there, what, like how long ago, right?
Yeah. I mean,
let's say you laughed up on the second floor. That is going to be trapped in there. Now, why does all this energy is being trapped? It's all layered up. Is it plausible that in 50 years or sooner, someone hears your laugh in the building? Like, It's crazy to think, and it may never happen. It may never come out, or it may. You know, why do we hear the screams we do? Why do we hear the distant whispers that we do? You know, is it the past, or is it the very, very immediate past? You know, you want to
Yeah, I
get
mean,
into a real can of worms. Is it the future? Are we communicating with the future? You know?
we leave our footprint everywhere we go. So why
Mm-hmm.
wouldn't we leave it there?
And even
I
if
mean,
it's for that small amount of time.
right.
It wasn't like if you hear footsteps at a residual, yes, maybe that was a constant tracking of footsteps, but the footsteps you're hearing have to be from one event of walking, not all those events of walking at the same time, which means your lottery ticket could be pulled for the footsteps heard, you know,
Right.
with all the thousand others. But yeah, it's interesting. But I had that note here because it was like, I think, do hauntings evolve or change over time? 100%.
Oh
Because it
yeah.
was one of the first things we talked about. Like, the seminary is not the same the way we remember it because it's been contaminated like every other haunting on the grid. The more people go to it, you have contaminated that haunting with more of a foreign haunting than a domestic.
So how much stuff have you brought in compared to what other people have just left there or dropped off?
Like the stuff that's there.
Right.
Versus, okay, like a lot of people bring stuff for Sarah in her rooms. A lot of stuff's brought in there. I get a lot of donations. When I bought the seminary, it was 88 empty rooms. Actually, a little bit of junk, but not like any furniture that I
Right.
recall. The dentist chair that everybody knows that was up in the asylum was up there. That was given by the Historical Society back in like 2006 or something. Patty Pack and Play, Maddie was there, which we named her Maddie. I don't. It was just called Sarah's doll one time. Yeah, same thing. I brought in all the wicker wheelchairs, all the furniture. Uh, so yeah, 98% of the furnishing you see has been brought in.
Okay.
Which again, right? Interesting.
Right.
Interesting. Are we
So we're talking
communicating with
about
the Madison Seminary? Or are we communicating with what that stuff is?
yeah. So you're talking about that. Let's go into Ouija boards. You have a Ouija board upstairs in the Civil War room. Um,
Correct.
I don't believe in Ouija boards. I think they're a piece of cardboard or a piece of wood. That's my
Correct.
philosophy on that. But the people who do believe, you're going to a pay to play place and you're going to try to contact outside spirits. I don't really agree with that.
Right.
That's mine.
So my biggest argument with it was, what is the difference between a Ouija board and a voice recorder? Right. They're both tools used to communicate with the dead.
Yeah.
Again, but being a jurisdiction of this, like I don't say what is used. I get people all the time. Can we bring a Ouija board in? Absolutely.
Yeah.
If that is your perspective, I'm more with you. Do I use Ouija boards? No. I don't use that to communicate because there's so many ways you can argue that it's what do they call it? Idiomotor response.
Yeah.
You know the word I'm trying to say.
Right.
Like, it's just too open-ended. I remember when I first got into this stuff, people were playing with Ouija boards. We play with that. I just don't think that's a very definitive way to investigate. Not even that. Definitive is not even the right word because everything's going to be subjective. But we leave that in there for teams that are interested in that. There's really no piece of equipment we put off the table because, again, I think the most toxic thing for the community is to set parameters. Like, I mean, don't try to, like, hang yourself in there. Okay, like be logical for the
Yeah.
sake of science. But, you know, you'll get some places that are against Ouija boards. Well, then now you're drawing a line of saying, hey, Ryan, I can tell you when you want to investigate this location that you paid to be here at, I can tell you what you can or can't do. And that's being someone in the community. Maybe if I was just like third generation, we've owned this place and I don't ghost hunt, those people may do that. But as a fellow investigator in the community, I do not want to put any chains on you to how you can investigate.
Right. No, I mean, we used it the one time. My buddy's never used one. I've used them when I was
Yeah.
younger.
Yeah.
Things never moved in my life for me, but he was kind of nervous to do it. I'm like, you're here, might as well do it. So he got to
Yeah.
use it, so he can say he did a Ouija board.
Yeah.
Thing didn't move, but whatever. I mean,
I've never really had luck. And think I've done it in groups and stuff, and I always try to feel if it's the group moving it kind of thing. You know, it's been a few years since I've done it. Again, it would be on the bottom of my go-to list of an arsenal, right?
right.
So,
Anything with human interference,
yes.
I don't.
Yeah.
I throw out. and a couple on here right now. Table tipping, not a fan.
Never participated, and I don't. That's like a Victorian thing.
Right, it's starting Victorian.
Okay. I
So
feel like when you have human interaction like that, there's going to be. I never sat in on one, so I can't really. I think I've seen a video of it where it's actually tipped, and people walk with it or something around it.
I think they like just touch it or something. I don't know. They touch it, and their energy supposedly goes into it, and there's a spirit attached to it.
What's the point of table tipping?
As a Victorian era, I'm guessing it's kind of like the Ouija board. You know, you're putting your energy onto the table. Then it's you ask a question, and it tips to one person or the other. But again, when you have people touching
how's the
something,
table tipping?
Me personally, I think someone's pushing it.
Logically, right? It's not like.
And I've asked that: is it a spirit taking over your body to tip that table, or is the spirit actually tipping the table?
Oh, then we're getting into a really weird sector.
But I researched it. No one knows. Even in Victorian era, who created this damn thing, don't even know which is what. So
inconclusive.
Right.
Yeah, I wouldn't. Yeah, I'm not familiar with it. I've heard of it.
Yeah, right. It's popping up now more and more.
Yeah. Well, it's okay to experiment with stuff, but like we do need to be more critical in the field. And this is where I feel like with the paranormal community, everyone's too afraid to step on each other's toes. Let me just say this to anyone that disagrees with me. I think people don't want to disagree because they don't want to piss owners off because like, oh, we'll get banned. Dude, I talk shit on. We're banned from a few locations to go to because we do disagree. Like I can't go back to St. Albans, allegedly. And that's okay. But what I would tell teams is even if you disagree with me, like Ryan, you could have got in here and just shot down everything I said and then followed up with Adam, and you're a piece of shit, which I would admire because I'm a former frat boy. I love that shit, dude. I love that. I'm like, damn, Ryan, this is a great interview. That would not change your status of going to the Madison Seminary and booking it, where I think teams are afraid of that, or they're afraid if they piss off another team, that team's going to go and talk a little shut online or something, and then maybe it gets them in trouble in the community. No, here's what I will say. The one thing I've learned about this community is that they love controversy. And I have caught myself there in times where I've put people on blast, but it's a very justified attack. If I have to put someone on blast, you've been on the radar for a little bit and you are a menace, and let's just bring it out. Let's drag you out of the shadows and talk about why you may be a piece of shit. It's very healthy for the community to self-regulate that way. Now, but when we talk about the toxicity in the community, it's more of like, paranormal bartender, I hear stuff. I think it's just people it's like cliquey, like high school. Here's what I would say to people. Just don't do that. Especially something out there. It's interesting because I do see a lot of these mentalities where teams come in and they're arguing about other teams. Who cares, man? Right. I have a lot of people that talk shit on me that have never met me. And I'm not saying I'm the golden boy and I'm great. I definitely have my flaws. But I think some people just like to hate people from afar. There's people that probably hate you, Ryan. And I'll tell you, my interactions with you, there've only been a few. I think you're an outstanding guy. But there are people that are going to watch you from afar and maybe something you said. They're like, Ryan said that. I do not agree with that. Ryan is the enemy. The beauty of this game is to understand that we all have differences. I love people's different opinions. I love hearing your different opinions. I love hearing your opinion of the Ouija board. Actually, I'd love for us to butt heads here at some point, but cool. We seem to be pretty aligned here on thought. But it's just refreshing, I think. And in this debate thing you're going to do, run it. I have wanted to have a debate with a demonologist, right? Okay. I've wanted that shit. I've wanted it so bad. And when I did that 2 years ago, calling it out, crickets. It's like, stand on business. If you believe you are a demonologist, stand on business and let's talk. Like, I got so many questions. Oh, Catholic boy right here, okay? Like, how often do you go to mass? Like, do you know, all these things. What book did you read? The ABC of demons, and I can name the demons, so I'm a demonologist. Like, shut the fuck up. Like, I think there's a lot of clowns running around in this stuff, and they just want the title. They want to put that in there because that sounds great. That looks dumb. You look dumb as shit with that in. And if you want to put that in there, you better be ready to defend the title. Anyone that wants to put the title in paranormal expert, be ready to defend that shit. Because that's, and you know what the funny thing is when you see people that have like paranormal expert on their title for shows? These shows, from someone who has had the beast many times at these locations, when the beast existed, because television's kind of gone now, it's all YouTube,
Right.
which I definitely like the YouTube generation more than television. These producers will ask you when they're setting you up for your interview, getting the lights on you and everything. And they're like, hey, what's your title? And I just always say like owner, and at best, paranormal investigator. But they'll let you pick the title. If you see someone says paranormal expert, they're like, hey, is it getting mic'd up? Hey, slip that in. Paranormal expert. So it's like, okay, let's stand on business. What's that mean? You know everything. We're dealing in a game of unknowns. We had a very healthy talk today. There are things we do not understand, and we are just speculating on it. But when you use the word expert, that'd be like, okay, Mr. Expert, explain foreign and domestic haunting. When does the foreign haunting begin? How long does the domestic stay? Can we still communicate with the domestic? When can we begin to start talking to the foreign haunting that we've actually put there with our own energy? Dude, they're going to sit there all dumbfounded. What? Like, because you ain't no fucking expert, dude. Yeah. So, anyway, that's just my rant on it. I think debates are very healthy. Very healthy.
I've been throwing out those on Facebook, and there's a reason I've been throwing a whole bunch of stuff on Facebook, and I forget the one I put out there, but I got a lot. I know. I am. No. How about I believe?
Believe is a better word, yeah.
Because you do not know what spirits are. Mm-hmm. You believe what spirits are. There's so many people that are experts out there, but you say back it up then.
And to even backtrack to how we started, it's so interesting because it comes back to those filters. Remember, you got a team that believes in science. You got a team that just believes on their own feelings and instincts. There's teams that are religious. That seems to be how they back their expertise, right? It's their perspective. But there's so many perspectives, and there's no way to be definitive on it. We can't get on this show tonight and be like, this is a spirit. It's not, because there's no way to prove it. Right. We know there's something there. We know there is something communicating. Maybe you're on the team of demon, that everything's talking to you and is a demon. Then I got to question why you're here, because that sounds dangerous, right? Then you got the people that are like, they are deceased people. Okay, cool. And there's others that are just like, they're interdimensional beings that have understood our language and talk to us. Like, you know what I mean? There's just even, and here's the thing. It's just the dogs. And then there's this thing of like, shit, I lost my train of thought on that. It was, there's no receipt to an EVP. And I will die on this hill, of people believing every EVP that they capture is like law. If you get an EVP that says, I am Sarah. You sure? Because I've had Class A EVPs where I'm in Sarah's room and it says, I am Sarah. I don't know if I trust you. We understand that humans lie. Spirits can lie too. Therefore, what becomes very problematic in this field, I'm talking red alert status, problematic for this field, is it's very hard to get any definitive evidence. Even if we were to say, hey, tell us over EVP, and we're getting Class A EVPs, can we trust the source that they're telling us the truth? I don't know.
No, I mean, it's just,
we get a lot of conflicting answers.
It's just like nowadays, like, I am Sarah. Like I always say, that could be Fred saying that, because what do we say? They want attention. And it's no difference than what we're doing right now on social media. We want the attention. That's why we, collect dolls. That's why we do all this, throw these EVPs. It's all about attention.
And I get it. And this comes down to psychology. I love psychology in this field of research. And again, I'm talking about all hobbies. We could make fun of the knitters, the LARPers, the motocross people. Everybody wants to be somebody. I understand and I respect that. That's self-preservation. Because in a world like this, it can seem very depressing that, in 100 years from now, I always tell people, don't be anxious. Don't be scared to do anything in life, because in 100 years, people are not going to say our names, very likely. So go out, take the risk. That's what I've always thought. But in today's day and age, when you look at social media, it's so interesting. People want to be heard, and they deserve to be heard. We self-preservation, we all have it. I always tell people when I'm talking to the crew, I'm very careful about people that want to help with the project, because there are things called agendas. There are people with good agendas and there are people with bad agendas. And people are like, what does it take to become a part of the crew? You are going to be thoroughly investigated. Like, I'm not talking like, yeah, background check, all this stuff, but you are going to be thoroughly investigated as a person, because I always let the building call people in, the buildings call them in, because I got to see if you're into the long-term game. Are you in sport mode or are you hobby mode? I need people that are as hungry and driven as me to protect this building. That's a part of the Your Mortality Project. You think about 100 years from now, they're going to be watching these videos. We are going to be the footnotes for people, but I need to know your quality. You have to care about the building first, then the ghosts. And that they're all playing together, but I'm just saying, like, you protect the nest, the ghost then comes second. And I have a lot of people that'll come into this and they just want to ghost hunt. And I'm sorry if that's the case. You're not built for this. No property is going to survive with a bunch of ghost hunters running it, because they're all just going to want to ghost hunt. You need to learn how to protect these things, how to work on construction, all this stuff. I got into that rant because that is another game of, like, in this self-preservation game. But again, and this is another bit of advice for people. If that's you and you want to be known, then shut your mouth, focus in your lane, and do work. Do not be too busy worrying about, like, talking about shit on other people and stuff. If you were to spend a fraction of your time of all the shit talking you do about other people, whatever the people are doing, and just focus on your mission, whatever that is, maybe this is that moment to self-reflect. What are you doing? What is your mission? If I had to paint my mission out, I love paranormal research. I love this stuff. I dropped out of college for it. I thought it was so interesting. And I wanted to protect that. Therefore, I bought the buildings. I went on and that is the mission. Save the history. Let other people investigate. Get more people interested in it. The mission path is clear. To these teams at large, what is your mission? Is it to shit talk other people? Is it to think you're the greatest there for your 12 subscribers on YouTube? Like, is that what it's all about? Oh, the meanest shit talkers are the ones that have, like, nothing. The ones that message me and they're like, hey, our show, that paranormal is coming, and we believe you should waive the fee because we're going to put you on the map. It's like, first off, the Madison Seminary has been here way before all this. Madison Seminary, the Fairfield County Fair, we don't need that. We've had a lot of big hitters. We get a ton of splash. It's just the ego. It's like, if you're going to have ego, at least fucking own it. Like, have it. Have something to have an ego about. But then you'll learn with that kind of power, ego kind of diminishes, because it's so hard to maintain what they all want. All these people want a TV show. Well, first off, TV's dead. Learn how to film, get out there, make the content, create this, like, the reputation that you're not like a fraud would help, unless you want to be in that category. But get out there and do the work. I think that's the most healthiest thing I can say to the paranormal community that needs this knowledge. Like, yeah.
Right. I tell everybody, just be you and it'll take care of itself. I mean, I don't film, I don't edit, I do live podcasts. That's my thing. We talked about debate coming up. That's a big thing. Am I going to shit talk people? No. I'm going to shit talk topics. And all I'm hoping to do is open people's minds up a little bit. Maybe question. I'm going to get questioned. I'm going to have questions. We talked tonight, right?